Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. This is I Allegedly. And I've got a good one for you today because your car is spying on you. And this is getting to be a real big problem. There's a lot to cover, business news as well. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, join our email list because we got another one coming out fairly soon. But the geese are happy. They're eating on the hill. And let's get right into it. There was a Florida man who went out and bought a 2021 RAV4, the XJ model, like the high-end model, and was driving the car, and then found out that Progressive, the insurance company, was getting all his data sent to them. And you can say, oh, this is no big deal, but this guy was furious because he said when he demanded the data, they finally relented and gave it to him. And he said, it would look like I took this car off-roading in Central Florida. My speed, my braking, my cornering, how long I stopped, where I stopped. And here's the thing, guys. If you don't think that that's worth something to people, it's worth a ton. Now, Progressive, will raise rates on you because you're clearly a bad driver, but you brake check, you speed, in neighborhoods where you shouldn't be speeding, which is nobody's business. You're driving your car. It's just that simple. So again, this is Connective Analytical Services is the company. Toyota got sued, and they want to make this thing a class action lawsuit. So if you own a fairly new car, I would say 2018 or newer, I would look at this and I would find out if you're being tracked, because this information is unbelievable what they're collecting. You can sit there and say, oh, it's no big deal, everybody does it. No, 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 no. It's in the fine print when you buy an automobile that you're being tracked. Well, I didn't agree to that. I don't want them to track me. So here is the thing about this. They use this against people. They also share it. I was the head of the class for the class action lawsuit with the toll roads here in Southern California. And where they got in real trouble wasn't the excessive fines. It wasn't the criminality with overcharging us, acting like a state agency. That was bad. But the worst part was they shared our data. They shared our personal information. They sold it to other people. Here in this state, this is one of those states that in Leftistville that they don't want to, your privacy is everything. Okay? Sometimes, if they feel like it. Anyways, when it came to the car data, they were totally against that. And that's where they got into real trouble. And that's why they settled it. And that's why all the attorneys got rich with that lawsuit. So anyways, this is going to be another one. And the man's name that's filing the suit is Philip Sifke. Mr. Sifke is represented by Morgan & Morgan, which is the world's largest personal injury law firm. So anyways, crazy. But the data of your car is listening to you. It is watching you. It is knowing if you have, think about this. Is the radio on when you drive? Well, yeah, it's always on. My radio's, I don't think I ever turn it off. Well, distractions are big. Do you have satellite radio? Are you on the phone? It knows all that, and it shares all that with these people. How about that? I remember OnStar. OnStar was designed, press a button, and you can get yourself help with your GM products. Nope. OnStar, people would say, hey, I think this is listening to me. There was a great lawsuit from a year and a half ago where a woman was praying in her car on a Sunday before she went into church, and all of a sudden she heard somebody coughing. It was through the OnStar. And somebody was listening to her pray. So, God, I hope Dan from I Allegedly comes to my town. Anyways, probably something like that. But anyways, her own personal stuff was given up. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Ford Motor Company, I want you to think of this lie that I'm telling you, that is bad. Now, all these car companies, don't just think it's Toyota. We've heard about other companies, heard about GM. I'm sure they all do this, and I'm sure they all sell this stuff. But the problem with it is that if you want to give the data to your insurance company, I know a woman that showed me an app on her phone and says, listen, if you get this app, and you drive within the parameters that they set for you, you can get cheaper insurance. Great, great. Do you want to give up that privacy? Now, they would grade her on a daily basis on how she drove, and it would dictate this. What do you save doing this? Oh my gosh, my insurance went down almost $100 over the last over 6 months. I'm like, is that worth giving up your privacy for? $100 over 6 months? This is a woman that would go get her nails done, get her hair done, and go buy a new pair of shoes because she felt like it. You know what I mean? But she gave up that privacy too, and had the app. But God, it's just really tough to try to stay in the parameters because you need to drive like an old man. When I drove her car, she told me to drive like an old man because the car doesn't differentiate who's driving the car. I could lend it to my idiot son and his friends when they come to town. He could drive through the toll roads and get, hit with a toll violation here and there. Oh, that's terrible, Dan. Okay? See, again, these lawsuits, now that Toyota's getting sued, they're all going to get sued for this. This is going to be the beginning to this. Now that Morgan & Morgan is involved, which is a big law firm. I'm not disparaging the law firm because they're huge. They wanted to advertise on my channel too. Okay? You've been injured in an accident? Call Morgan. Anyways, you get the gist. Point is that when you have the world's biggest law firm out there and they are taking cases like this, this is the beginning of this. There's going to be many, many more cases. This is the Huntington Beach Library, which is the greatest library in the world. It's 3 stories. It's got every magazine that you could think of there. And then they've got this lake, and the lake always changes with the weather. When the wind blows, it's got crap on it. Ducks breed here, and the geese and things like that. It's a very cool spot. Ford came out today, and this is the lie that you're going to hear. Got sidetracked a little earlier. This is it. Ford just lost $1.5 billion in sales. It's tariff related. It's all tariffs' fault. We're losing money because of the tariffs. Well, okay, Ford CFO, Sherry, whatever her name is. How much is this going to change the price of a Ford vehicle? It could change the price of a Ford vehicle 1 to 1.5%. Wait, say that again. The price of a Ford car is going to go up 1%. Well, it's not going to go 10, 15. No, 1%, 1.5%. Who cares, guys? I'm telling you this right now. If you buy anything, any big purchase, other than merchandise from do you want the refrigerator or not? It's $800. Other than things like that and things like your lunch, you should negotiate everything. Hey, I'm going to get a garage door installed. Okay, we want the buffer wheels. How much are those normally? Oh, with the Quiet Glide system? Gosh, those add $200 to your purchase. Oh, no, it doesn't. I want the Quiet Glide system. You're going to throw it in, or I'm going to call somebody else. Oh my gosh. Okay. You see, you can negotiate anything in this world, but the point is that Ford's trying to tell you that the price of a vehicle is going to go up 1 to 1.5% because of the tariffs, and sales are off. We're losing money. No, you're not. Ford's not making money. Ford went out and had such a problem with the EV cars that they wasted so much money for. I want you to think about this. There are 35 politicians that are going to fight, and they are Democrats that are going to fight to get these state rules overturned, and Biden's ridiculous mandates of 2035 only electric vehicle, all that stuff, to get that overturned so that they can have gas powered vehicles in their state. Well, why would you do that, man? Again, did green energy just go away, guys? Talked about that in the last video. I guess it's not a problem anymore. The climate's fixed. I'm telling you, you want to drive anywhere. The new Slate car, the Jeff Bezos car, man, I've had so many people write me about that thing that are into insurance and car safety. You can't sell conventional pickup trucks. If you can find a pickup truck with a cab and a bed that's a small pickup truck, you won the lotto, because they don't make them anymore because of all the highway standards. This Slate car, supposedly they're going to make that. I guess highway standards don't apply to golf carts. Okay? So Ford losing money has nothing to do with anything tariff related. They're a horrible company right now. The brands are horrible. You know, it's funny. They have a really cool looking Mustang, but it's an EV car. So the cool factor went out the door. It's like, a fat girl with bad teeth. It's like, what? No, I don't care what you look like in a bathing suit. Bye. Okay? That's terrible, Dan. How dare you say that? New York has a real problem with people stiffing landlords because they don't have any consequences in New York. You could rob people. You could, go to places like the bodegas and rob people. And again, retired cop that just gave me the skinny on what it was like to work the streets and just how bad it was and how it progressively got worse because there's zero accountability. Hey, shut the geese up. Come on. Trying to film here. Point is that all these people, it takes years sometimes to evict these people, and then they don't collect on the rent. The other thing right now is there is a real scam going on when it comes to real estate brokerages, and they are doing something called pocket listings. And great article below about how people are like, well, wait, maybe I shouldn't go with a pocket listing. Maybe I should have this, thrown out to the public. Here's the thing. People get greedy. This woman in this story wanted, a set price and then got about 90 grand more for it and was like, you know what? Maybe I should put it on the open market. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Again, got more money than she ever dreamed of, hit her dream price and then the extra money. But maybe I should go for more. Okay, good luck. Good luck. Go to Las Vegas right now and look at houses right now. You cannot, they're giving them away. All the home builders there are doing things that are absolutely insane. Incentives, buy down rates on your interest rates. Basically, if you have good credit, 6.75%. Like I said, do you have good credit? Do you have a good job? You have a substantial down payment? How about this? One brokerage firm told me, you know what you need to do, Dan? You need to walk up to a house and put 40% down. Any $1 over 40% will get you very few questions asked about your loan. Hey, 800,000. You guys have that kind of money? 400,000. You guys have that kind of money? It's crazy. Nobody has that kind of money right now. So, I love this. There is a term when it comes to insurance. And this is the one thing of every house I have looked at. And it's funny, my daughter and I was like, you know what, we should buy a house in Nebraska, or that Iowa area that you were at. That was really nice. And I had a cab driver who drove me around, and I paid Kelly some extra money to sit there with me and take me in, but knew everywhere. And Kelly was a big dude, so I was very safe when I was going to neighborhoods I didn't know. But having him show me what good areas were, what bad areas were, where the floodplain was, all that stuff. That stuff's worth, everything by having a local walk you through that. Anyways, when you look at these cheap houses, there is something new with insurance companies where there's a term, risk regions. Hi, oh yeah, this heavily patrolled by geese. It's a risk region for bird crap. Okay, I don't know. If you're with Progressive, it's going to cost you more. It's crazy, but the risk regions, they're happening more and more and more. Here's the worst part is that I have had so many people, I mean this, dozens of people write me and tell me, we have had our insurance for 18 years. These people have lived in their house for over 2 decades, and they get dropped by their insurance company because of drone flyovers. And yeah, my husband built that area by the barbecue. We didn't get a permit, Dan. We just did it. Oh my gosh. So these guys go out and they, shut you off. Get rid of your insurance. So seeing more and more of this, guys. It's just a real problem. Now, again, the 35 House Democrats that joined the Republicans to kill Biden's EV targets, that's great. Price Waterhouse, the big accounting firm, they're just going to let go of 1,500 people in, you know, in their auditing and tax department. So nobody's filing tax claims and nobody's filing a tax return anymore. No one's getting audited anymore. I guess not. Not as far as Price Waterhouse is concerned. So this is what you have to look at, because I'm telling you, when you have accounting firms letting people go, business is not that bad in that sense, but clearly something's wrong. Final thing, and this is the most disturbing thing that I've heard, and that is there's a huge homeless population, and it's an aging homeless population. And what's worse is that 20% of the people that are over 55 that are homeless, 20% of people that are homeless are over 55 right now. So you have all these old people that don't have a place to live, and the retirement money that they thought, I'll live on Social Security, can't live in certain regions. That's just shocking, guys. It's sad. It's terrible. That makes me feel so bad to hear that stuff. You know, there was a story that I covered last year where a woman had been overpaid on her Social Security, so they went out and assessed her 100%. So she had a 21-month period where she had to get zero Social Security and before she could get another check. Too old to work, she thought, so had to live in her car. Awful, 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 awful. Please don't forget that we have the private channel, I Allegedly Live. I love doing that content for you guys. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and weather's still kind of gloomy here, but it's great to be home in California. Again, guys, thank you so much for the people that watched the video, of going to my mother's childhood home. It was a big deal, guys. It really was emotional. It was very nice to see that. And, they added on to the house since they moved out of it, since Grandma died. But, it's really important to do things like that. Plus, I'm really happy that you guys like the stories. I'll share some other stuff about my parents and crazy stuff. Growing up without cell phones, and I've said this, I grew up in a different world. Went to junior high in the late 70s and graduated in the early 80s from high school. Man, we had to navigate, asking girls out and going through, calling, is the line busy, her bigger brothers, all that nonsense that we had to. And it just made us better people. We had to communicate with people. There's no texting. Kids today are weak, man. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, email me hello@iallegedly.com. Again, look at these lawsuits. Again, I'm not trying to pitch Morgan & Morgan for you, but if you have one of those cars and you don't want your data shared, think about this. What's this going to do for a divorce? Okay? When you find out, hey, I want to know where the car was driven, you're going to be able to get that information now. Okay, well, God, you sure were parked at that hotel a long time. Oh! Anyways, hit the like button if you're still here, okay? Anyways, just write, you know what, if you stayed here to the end, write divorce in the comments, okay? I'll see you soon.